Calculating the actual CPC. Okay, kids, pay close attention. At this point, as we mentioned, we brought up the topic of ad rank. We said that ad rank affects your position compared to others who are in the auction at that moment. So, compared to others in the auction, where do you stand? Well, up to this point, have you paid any money? No. What has happened up to this point? Up to this point, you have only received the display, you have received the impression, so pay attention until we find out what happens that we are not seeing. So compared to the others, I have gained a position and got loaded. Right. This loading. Now pay attention. This loading threw the impression for you. Right. But now it wants to crack the user. So what is the ad rank calculated for? The ad rank is calculated and practically comes into play when you want to determine where and how your position is compared to others in the loading. Right. I said this. Now suppose you are advertiser 2 and you want to be clicked on. The user clicks on you, right? Who deducts the money? Advertiser 2, right? Guys, imagine now the same word with a series of other numbers. Advertiser 1, 2, 3, 4, advertiser 1. It says I am willing to pay $3 per click, which is quite a large number. And my quality score is also 10. How much do we consider its ranking? 30. Advertiser 2 says I am willing to pay $4 and its quality score is 6. How much do we consider its ranking? 24, 64 to 24. Advertiser 3 says I am willing to pay $6 and its quality score is 2. How much does its ranking become? 12. And the last one is 8, right? Why is it that up to this point the order of display relative to each other is like this? It says, look, you are placed higher than the next advertiser, which is advertiser 3, based on what? Based on the fact that I said your ad rank was higher than the one below, right? So the amount I want to deduct is calculated in such a way that if multiplied by the quality score, it should be just above the ad rank of the one below you. I'll say it again. I deduct the actual amount from you so that when it is multiplied by your quality score, the hypothetical ad rank that results is still higher than the ad rank of the one below. This means it hasn't been unfair to place you above them. So, what is the ad rank of the one below you? 12. So actually Google's preference is that your ad rank is slightly higher than the one below. Meaning if it was 12 and a bit, you would be placed above them, right? Now, if a click happens, the clicker is attributed to the one below. So let's reverse this sentence that was said, which means what is the ad rank of the one below? Divided by the quality score that you have, meaning 12 divided by 6, right? How much does that equal? 2, to be just a little above that 12, because 2 times 6 equals 12, right? To be a bit above, it says I'll add 1 cent to it, meaning you have a total cost per click of 2.01. Remember I mentioned actual CPC or average CPC. Look, 12 divided by 6, which should be your name. It becomes 2 plus 1 cent, which means what? 2.01. Why do they say 1 cent? Guys, all monetary units are converted to dollars and eventually go into the auction. Is it better in dollars? No, don't get it wrong. I'll tell you later. Write down the smallest unit for the second item. The smallest bid unit. In the Google Ads dashboard, 1/100th of the account's currency unit. If you didn't catch something, just write it as 1/100th of the account's currency unit. Well, I mentioned this. I'll talk about it later. I'll come back to it. Now, suppose, kids, if you were an advertiser 1 and someone clicked on you, how much should it have reduced? Again, how much is your lower ad rank? 24 divided by your quality score divided by 10. How much does it become? 2.4 plus 1 cent plus 1 cent, well, plus 1 cent. So what does 2.4 become? 2.41, you know guys, it essentially deducts 2.41 cents from you. I'll say it again, the base ad rank is 24. The decision is the base ad rank is 24, right? If it deducts 2.4 from you again, it becomes a problem. So to prevent this situation, it adds 0.03, making it 2.41 cents, the amount that is actually deducted from you, right? So you also learned about this in the auction, that it doesn't calculate based on your bid, guys. Now, something unfortunate happens here. Some people make a big mistake and make a decision. Pay attention. Some people make a big mistake and make a decision. They say, look, our position was initially determined based on the ranking, so I will raise the bid, right? Well, they say, if I raise the bid, my ranking will go up, right? I come and raise the bid higher than the others. Up to this point, it's correct, okay? Then the lower bid calculates your effective CPC, meaning if I place my bid here and set it to 32, what will my ranking be? I still want to calculate 30, yeah? Which is 24 divided by 10, yes, yeah? It actually deducts 241 from you. I say up to this point, huh? It's still correct, but the important question is, what about the others? Is it that what you want? The others don't want. Guys, everyone makes exactly this mistake. Their perspective is this. Now imagine you decide to implement this in your mind, and I also decide to implement it. What happens? The action explodes. The level of action is rising. Now try to fix it. Can you easily bring it down again? The point is, guys, this only makes sense if the others are static. If the others don't move at all, such a thing doesn't happen. Why? Because I'm also a person who is doing advertising. Don't get upset. It was decided that Google would distribute this at different times so that I can display it at various times to achieve better performance. Now, where do you see the person who bids in the auction? What is it like? So guys, you shouldn't proceed with this strategy. Instead, you should optimize it to gradually reduce it to achieve a good result from it. Well, I want to tell you a very important point here. Everyone asks, so on what basis is the final one calculated? This is not a very important question. So, if advertiser 4 gets a click, on what basis is their CPC calculated? Guys, Google considers a minimum ad rank based on those keywords and other factors, based on previous user behaviors, and so on and so forth. Whatever data it has, there is a minimum ad rank that neither I know nor you. That advertiser 4, pay attention, or 3 or 2 or H, I want to tell you. 2 titles. The first topic, if your ad rank is lower than the minimum ad rank that Google has, because we don't know how much it is, you are losing impressions, meaning you are losing your impressions, meaning you are not getting displays. The second reason I mentioned that you might not get displays, so you are losing. Well, why? Because your ad rank is low. We don't know how much it should be to start. This is the first reason. Well, according to this definition, Advertiser 4, which has received a display, has that ad rank, which should be divided by a minimum ad rank, that is Google's AQ. Now the point is, at this moment of the auction, you are calculating this. Do you know this moment of the auction? How about this moment of the auction? There is a keyword firing there. What if another keyword fires instead? Okay, so we are talking about the rank, but it's entirely possible that the keyword might even change. So its ad rank might also change. Therefore, you can't say, I was in this position and advertiser 4 was there, and I am being calculated with a minimum ad rank. You don't know what was below, who was there at that moment, right? So, Google has a minimum ad rank, and based on that minimum ad rank, the lower one is calculated. Exactly. This formula is the lower ad rank divided by your quality score plus 1 cent. Okay, set this aside. Again, the important issue here is that if your ad rank is lower than Google's minimum ad rank in that auction, you won't get the impression. Now guys, what happens to those minimum ad ranks? Do you remember? Let me flash back for a moment. Do you remember I talked about this issue that if you start increasing your bid, for example, I saw the same thing, so I start increasing it too. Guys, the auction level becomes heavy. You are collectively pushing these minimum ad ranks up, without realizing it, but you are doing it. And right. If your competitors need to do this less, guys, Google looks at a large volume of data. Well, slowly it might become heavy, yes? So we can optimize it. Let's slowly control it, okay? So guys, the minimum ad rank that causes us not to display. Except for that, if our final collection gets clicked, on what basis is our CPC calculated? Based on that minimum ad rank, which is given by Google itself, divided by something we don't know the amount of, so I can't say we're paying more for that ad, but, well, it doesn't even the least, but the point is that it is calculated based on the minimum threshold. And if you don't touch the minimum threshold, you will lose impressions. Let's flash back to the sentences where I said that. Google, for another reason you might not get displayed. What did I say? I said Google tries to spread your display throughout the day. Right? It tries to spread it based on what I said. I mentioned one word in it. It tries to use your budget throughout the day, see? It tries to use your budget throughout the day, right? So what do you think the second factor I questioned here could be for you to lose impressions? If you budget this, it works with several models. If the budget is reduced for some reason, it wants to perform better for you another day. The reason is that it cannot be compared to your combinations. It cannot be compared to your budget. We need to examine the relationship between the bid and the budget more closely. Two factors are practically influencing this so that you don't get this impression. Up to this point, we've learned it, right? One is the low ad rank, which is practically compared to the minimum ad rank, which we don't know exactly how much it is, but we are considering it. It became the budget. So let's examine it together. Guys, first of all, assume that when I said budget, I meant daily spending allowance. Well, firstly, this parameter doesn't mean that only that number is spent. To put it more clearly, it can be the average daily spending allowance over a month, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Assume it's the daily spending allowance. Okay, now guys, at some point, this is supposed to be adjusted, right? It reaches that point. You see the lower chart? This lower chart gradually becomes tangent. Guys, on the left side, we have placed the click. You can set the inflation. We assume for the lower budget or the upper budget. For example, the upper one has a lower budget. The lower one has a higher budget. Well, You see that the red label is written next to it. We assumed, in fact, that I increased the budget in the lower one. By increasing the bid, pay attention, I haven't yet shifted the focus to quality scores. By increasing the bid, the ranking is going up. Okay. I also increased the budget, so I have the potential to be displayed more frequently, and I'm raising it just like that. I'm also increasing the percentage to be displayed better than the rest. Why? Because the minimum ranking percentage is getting higher, and since I increased the budget, I'm allowing myself to get more displays. Okay? It goes up, goes up, goes up until you see a flat line. Why? Because practically at that point, you're using that budget. Are you reaching the maximum you can get? Imagine you are taking the entire channel with its compartments, right? There are two scenarios, correct? When the number of children increases, what happens when the number of children decreases? Correct? Let me give you an example. Imagine we have 1 million children. Write this down. And they tell you, sir, I want you to go and get a Pierre Cardin shirt with this one. How many shirts can we get with them? They gave me permission to buy Pierre Cardin. They said, sir, go and buy it. But the point is, what haven't they given me? They haven't given me the daily spending allowance, right? I don't have the petty cash, meaning the ceiling doesn't even allow them to go for Pierre at all. Kids, where is such a situation? Let's assume it comes down to this zero. Do you see? We assume the upper one, right? It means they don't allow you to display, right? Kids, I said, you can also set click impressions to understand it, right? Now suppose I say to this kid, for this Pierre shirt, you can spend a maximum of up to 500,000 for each shirt. Kids, what does this resemble? It's like a bid, isn't it? I lowered the bid. Pay attention. I lowered the bid, kids. What does it mean when the ad rank is maintained? Kids, can we buy impressions with 500,000? Yes, we can buy them, meaning I reduce the bid, but we can still increase the impressions. Just imagine, sir, up to 300,000, we can again increase the number. When you reach below a certain number, you get to this point where you don't know what the number is. Kids, pay attention, you don't know this optimum. Imagine going below a certain number, and I'm telling you, you can't get a shirt for more than 50,000 tomans. Don't do it, kids. Can we find a 50,000 toman shirt here? No, not exactly, not now. Okay. Practically, I can't even find a shirt that I can buy for 50,000 tomans anymore. So, by reducing the number, the quantity I can buy increases with the same small budget of 1 toman from that shirt. After a certain point, it decreased again. Why? Because I can't find a shirt anywhere again. After a certain number, it approached 0 again, because we simply don't have shirts for 5,000 tomans or 10,000 tomans, right? The one who said you can spend this much per shirt, what are they reducing? Your patience. Meaning, look at the patience, see the patience. So kids, from this point before, that it couldn't be gathered from the show, from this point onward, you have aggression, you have support. What is stopping you? A low budget is stopping you. Well, I raise the child. Whatever it takes, I raise it. It just keeps going up in a straight line. Doesn't it reach the total capacity of its head? Well, if it reaches, or what then? It says, sir, our child can't do more. I can't. It doesn't work. It goes to that point. Then it says it touches the child. It finishes it. Did you understand what happened? It just keeps going up. So kids, when I have a broken chart, you won't see this chart anymore. Be on the side, you won't see such a chart in the dashboard anymore. Previously in the planner, you had the possibility to say, for example, I want to reduce the budget, predict how much I should give. Now you can still have a forecast, but you can't touch the budget anymore. It says, specify the bid for me, and it tells you the maximum amount. How much does it cost, for example, in this bidding? For instance, well, it won't come with someone who was held to change it. You can do this before. This is the old chart. This is the new chart where we have a lot of maxes. So from this point, in fact, the bid is going up, meaning it's getting attention. But what doesn't let it? It goes towards the old hell it was. Got it. What happened? So guys, I have two main factors for not getting displayed, or not loading, or not getting impressions, or better to say, losing impressions. One is the budget. And here I see that it goes below 5,000 transactions. I can't get it anymore. Below 100, I can't get it anymore. It becomes very little. Okay. Another one is the minimum ad rank, meaning what? Low ad rank. Another one is the budget. Don't forget these two charts. Here I assume that I increase the budget, giving it room to breathe. I think it always goes up, but that's not the case. It goes up and reaches an almost flat line, meaning it hits its limit. These are the two topics I wanted to tell you about. So this low ad rank causes us not to get impressions, and we talked about this. We reached this from the actual CPC, and I hope you have understood those two charts well. We are gradually moving towards the technical discussion. In the next section, guys, we will explore what type of Google account we have. And after that, we will move on to the discussion. In fact, the topic is about targeting and these stories, and then building campaigns, setting up benchmarks, and so on. I'll see you in the next video.